Hey, welcome back, everyone. Today we have Delian here, and we're going to have a conversation I've been looking forward to because it's about a constantly evolving topic. But first of all, Delian, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me here. Hi, Sean.
Yeah. Hi. So we are going to talk about agentic commerce today and how to optimize your Shopify website for agentic commerce. But before we get into it, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do, and why you're so qualified to talk about this topic? Because you are. You're very qualified.
Well, yeah. Well, thanks for asking that. So, long story short, in the past 20 years, I've been an agency owner myself. So we're actually working with a lot of agencies. So that's something very important because I really understand their work. But in the past 20 years, I built a lot of online stores, websites, running campaigns for them, doing kind of everything that an agency does, from setup, optimizations, and conversions. And mostly let's say, the biggest advantage we had was the SEO because we were really, really good with that. Basically, we've been the first in Google for about 5 years. And even now, even if my agency is not anymore active, there are still keywords that are actually ranking first on Google, let's say the old SEO kind of thing,
Mhm.
which still works combined with the new way of doing SEO. And then recently, in the past years, actually, I built Recomaze, which is an AI sales agent for e-commerce. Some people used to or like to call it Rufus for Shopify because it's very similar with what Amazon Rufus does. But
Mhm.
then what is very important and what we provide merchants and agencies with a tool that actually enables them to understand the problems and the gaps that an online store has in order to actually be mentioned or appear in ChatGPT or other AI assistants.
Wow. Okay. So, yeah, you've got the old school SEO background and the new school understanding of how basically AI systems recommend products and find products on the internet. That's impressive, to say the least. That's really cool. Yeah, that's great. I think I think at a high level, because people who are listening to this are familiar with Rufus, and they probably have some idea of how to optimize their Amazon product detail pages for Rufus, but they're probably a little bit more confused about how to do that same thing for Shopify to be found or on their website in general. It doesn't have to be Shopify, but for the rest of the internet. Mm, How would you recommend them kind of think about this? And from like a first principles beginner standpoint?
Well, if you think that the rest of non-Amazon online stores means about 20 million online stores,
Hmm.
it is actually something very important. So people typically sometimes forget that it's not just Amazon, but it's a lot of other online stores and good businesses around. Um,
Hmm.
so there are some similarities and there are some differences, but then to answer to your question, everything starts actually the old way, the old-fashioned way, with the strategy, with the process. Like, what do you want to achieve? Actually, it's not necessarily about the fancy new AI techniques and things like that, but it's actually what do you have? And it's mostly about the why. Why do you want to achieve that? And what do you want to achieve? So you have to start with the beginning and even maybe even use like, an old kind of doing like outlining things on paper or just using new tools. But it always starts with the process, like what do you want to achieve? And then, if you understand actually what is the result, because nowadays it's still a combination between the old SEO and old tools that are mixed with the new tools like conversational AI agents like Rufus or like Amazon or like agentic browsers that are more and more familiar. Then you have to choose your battles because it's kind of hard, to win all the battles. So first you need to optimize for something. You need to have an agenda, right? So like first I'm going to do
Mhm.
that, and then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to achieve the other thing. Actually, if we have time, maybe during this episode, I can also explain some of the basics on how do you actually start with the product and how to do that step by step, and even maybe showing some of those things. But you're the host, so you know better what.
Yeah, I mean, think about it like this. Let's make this question incredibly specific. I sell on Amazon. I have a Shopify store. 95% of my sales happen on Amazon. I want to start showing up in ChatGPT searches for my product so that I can get up to 10% of my sales from ChatGPT SEO. What would you do then? And imagine it's a single SKU product business. So it's not complicated. Like it's just one product and we want to add a second channel and optimize for ChatGPT. How would you said like we'll only choose chat or OpenAI and ChatGPT is the only one we're optimizing for to just make it incredibly narrow and specific.
Yeah,
What would you do? How would someone think about this? Because that's the mindset that a lot of people listening to this will be in.
yeah. So first of all, we actually need to remember that recommends product with great information. So put it in a simple way, great products with great information get recommended. So that's the first thing that we need to have in mind. So we need to be sure that our product, our listing has a lot of good information. Now, if you think in the old, I see that with a lot of merchants, and we are running a lot of audits. Actually, we're kind of the tools that it's has a lot of usage nowadays. So I see a lot of common mistakes, and the most common mistake is they have a lot of content, but it's content for human. So it's not
Mm,
actually content for uh, ChatGPT, because you asked me to be very specific on ChatGPT. So one of the problems they have to fix is the product. Most of the time, the product, the title of the product, it's very short. It's very weak. I mean, I've seen a lot of products that only have like, like blue shirt or blue pants or something like that, or a specific brand. And then what is that, like a TV or something like that? So if you think like that, if you take, for example, the blue shirt example, well, and we want to improve the title, which is, I would say, one of the most important things to be done, is we need to add a few things like who is this for, the style, the size, the material. So some questions that are like adding a lot of context so that the AI assistant ChatGPT could answer actually the very specific questions. And AI or ChatGPT specifically extracts a lot of information from the title. Then, if we have to continue to optimize this product, we need to work on the description. And is the description that has to be optimized for humans, but also for AI? I've seen a lot of very good examples on that, but uh, you need to think about what customers actually want to know about that product. It's the same what we did with the title, like what is this product for? Who is this for? Uh, what makes this a good product? How this product compares with other similar product, and
mm,
uh, typically you would see mostly with brands that are distributors, or they don't own the products. They will have like very short description, tiny descriptions, like this is a great shirt, and look, this is a few things about it. Very long description with not necessarily very long, because that's also not good, because ChatGPT and AI assistants actually don't like spending a lot of tokens to summarize and digest your page.
mm. Okay. So it's about giving AI something short but complete, if that makes any
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Like something that's
Mostly,
like, yeah.
mostly the
Go ahead, please.
complete product attributes. So
Mm,
imagine, take any product, and then you can do that on paper, like just outline all the attributes of that product. Like think about color, size, materials, weight, dimensions, compatibility, care instructions. But then you have to to summarize it and make it very, very short.
that makes a lot of sense. And so the main thing that you're really focused on is making sure that if ChatGPT could have a conversation about your product with someone, that it had answers to the questions it thinks somebody would ask. Is that
Yeah,
kinda it's like predicting what the AI search engine would ask, and then making sure the direct answers are on your page.
yeah,
Is
absolutely.
that
So the
Yeah,
the more complete data you have, the more confidently actually ChatGPT can answer about that. It doesn't guarantee that having all those information you will be mentioned or you'll be highlighted or you would appear in ChatGPT. But this is the basic of your store being actually AI discoverable.
okay. That makes a lot of sense, and I think that's really logical, like, that is the way that you would do it. I guess the follow-up question I have is, like, how? You know? How could someone do this? Is there an easy way for someone to do this? Is like, are there tools? Are there things you'd recommend? Like, how do we do this?
Well, I would say at this well because agentic commerce actually exploded, literally exploded.
Yeah.
You would see like hundreds of tools that are doing several things. I tested myself like a lot of them every day. I'm trying something new because I'm very passionate about e-commerce and AI optimization. And I'm trying to see what's new in the market. What I can tell
Mm,
is that a lot of the tools that are listed as e-commerce SEO tools they are improving the products based on the old rules. So there
mm,
has to be a mix because no matter how hard supporter I am on what's happening in 2026 with AI discoverability and AI
mhm.
visibility and making the online stores being AI readable, we need to be aware that actually still a lot of the things that worked in the past they are still working now. So it's kind of a when you're working as a merchant or as an agency and you're trying to optimize your online visibility, you have to be aware of both things and optimize for both old SEO and new SEO, if I can tell it like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think you actually have a tool that you could share. Before we got online, you kind of told me that there's like a audit, like a self-discovery tool that you guys kind of put together. Would you be open to showing us that? I'm really curious to see, and we can give you a website to try or something if you want. But excuse me, I'm really curious to see like how your tool works,
Yeah,
or like see your tool in action.
yeah, absolutely. Actually, we can test it on a website. Yeah, let me actually share my screen.
Okay, so we've got your tool on screen right now, and this is a tool that you can use. It's like, is your store AI ready? And you can kind of get a self assessment of if your website is or is not kind of ready for AI. So yeah, I suggested we use Hatch because we at this podcast are a big fan of Hatch. I think their playbook is really intelligent. So that's who I wanted to use, if that's okay with you.
Yeah,
And yeah,
absolutely.
let's see what it says.
So, let's try the patch. Meanwhile, it will take like 1 minute or two. We're not analyzing the full website. Actually, what you see
Mhm,
here on audit, that recomaze.ai, it's a free tool. It's actually an
mhm,
extension of our product. So we have the same similar product in the same feature in our product if you install it on a store, but it's
mhm.
doing a more in-depth and it's taking more time to do it. But we also build this external tool for people to understand actually how they perform. I think something is wrong with this one. It should have some data. It should have some data here, Sean.
Oh, that's maybe
Okay.
they have, anti-bots.
Yeah, typically we'll show something like this, like 30, 40%.
Mhm.
Let's try another
Okay, do
one,
you wanna
maybe.
try gruns.co, gruns.co? No, gruns.co. Yeah,
GRUMS
N as, Nancy,
and S.
dot .co. Yeah, dot
Well,
.co.
let's run it first and see.
Yeah,
So we don't have a surprise
let's see.
because we can load the home page we detected the platform, Shopify, the reviews. It's already reading. Is this a
Mm,
store? It is a store, right? Because it's on Shopify.
yeah. And yeah, it's uh it's a good store. Like they're a good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious about. Looks good. They don't have too many products on their homepage, but they have the reviews. Oh, I see. So what we do, we analyze the first page, typically, but let's see how it
hmm
goes.
Yeah, it should be good, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah,
Um,
look, our
but yeah,
science.
this
So it started to read it. What we do, it's pretty
mm,
similar with what, let's see, Shop
expecting a
did.
good score because it's a very popular product and they sell a lot. So I'm just curious to see, what your tool says because yeah, this is cool.
Well, I'm pretty sure I can tell just by looking now because I'm pretty familiar with what
Yeah.
how it works. So
hmm
they have this product, right? Which is
Yeah. It's gummy bears with
gummy
lots of
bear,
vitamins in it.
right? Well,
Yeah.
it has has a lot of things here, low sugar. Well, you know what it
Okay.
detects? It detects just one category, right? And then
Mm,
lack of technical details, insufficient usage information, limited product information. Let's see, actually, let's just check this one. So
wow.
it found this
That's
product. Let's see who
hmm
the product is, actually. It's Grants. Okay, so no, actually, this is not optimized for AI. uh,
wow.
look,
So a brand
um,
this big. Like I was expecting a good score to be honest, and I'm not trying to put this brand on blast. I'm a
no,
big fan of the way they
yeah.
market. So,
So look, cannot answer your
yeah,
question
wow.
about the ingredients, the dosage, or the form. Um, the application instructions and recommended improvements. Like, look, you should have this kind of intro, the ingredients, the dosage, the usage instructions, and you can tell by just looking at it. Look, they only have this thing here, and then
Mhm.
they have some of the things here actually, but it's not like a lot of content, right? For I think for
Mm,
me as a viewer, as a human browsing visitor, this is very good. I mean, it helps me to take the decision. While indeed for AI, this is not enough.
mm,
And look, we have this query lab, and then it just simulates how well AI could answer questions about the product. So, like, what are the benefits? And
hmm.
in this case, because it has the data, see, no missing data. AIs are designed for support energy and things like that. But then, what are the specific ingredients? Let's see if I can. Maybe we are not able to read it. This one, sugar, yes, carbohydrate. So I don't want to showcase them as a negative example, but I see the ingredients. Maybe it's here somewhere.
Wow. I thought it was on the main page maybe,
Looks 60
but it might
nutrient
not be
dense
on the product det
ingredients. And
Yeah, wow.
they have support. Okay, so it has like 6 grams of probiotics.
Mhm.
Sometimes because we are crawling these when it's in the product, when it is in recomaze, we actually import, all the inventory, all the fields, all the
Mhm.
attributes, everything else. So in this case, might be like sometimes something that we are not able to crawl, but
Mm,
I wouldn't take this one. I would take someone that has maybe a little bit more products. I don't know, like what
mm.
websites to give you. Uh,
No, this is interesting because if this is coming back from your tool, um, it does make a lot of sense. Um, while we were waiting for this to load, I searched, I want a gummy bear vitamin with 6 grams of prebiotic fiber, and it brought up Mary Roots, Ollie, Culturelle, Smarty Pants. hard truth, and it didn't bring up grooms at all.
Yeah, and then if you look, for example, at this section here, like, look, um, what are the usage instructions? How do you take it? How many, or like, what's the best time to take it? Or can be taken
Mm,
with other supplements, uh, which could be like a very good question for someone when
mhm,
someone is asking. You know what's happening actually in these websites? They don't have something like recomaze. So just to show you a little bit. After what we do actually, after we fix all these things, all these attributes and everything else, we enable an AI
mhm,
assistant similar with Rufus. So if I'm going, for example, to, let's say, these shoes, well,
mhm,
you would see that this one is pretty well optimized. Well, not necessarily, but it has like Q&A, has a lot of information here, like what is this for, who is this for, in what conditions to use, if this is a true size and things like that. But then it's impossible that the product description page, the PDP, would actually cover everything, right?
mhm,
It would be like Wikipedia if you would have to answer, all the possible questions that the visitor would have. So then we have this AI agent here that it's similar with Rufus, and then you can ask any question. So that's something that you need to have actually on your page if you want to answer any question that a visitor would have. Now, uh,
mm,
if that visitor questions comes from outside, from ChatGPT, for example, then you have to optimize your product description in a way that would have structured information, in a sense that would actually the AI will be able to answer that. So look, let's take a look, for example, to Walmart, because they are doing a really, really good job. And um, not with all their products, but more than 50% of their products have these new section now, which they call it key item features. And it was initially, or they still have it on some other products, that it will be called it's their old or their previous section with the short short description. So they had here the short description. Now they replaced it with these key item features in December. At that time they call it smart features. And you can tell that is generated by AI because they clearly indicate that. And what they did actually, they created a section in the website with all these condensed data, so that would actually be able to answer questions to agentic commerce. And then they still have the old working way, the product details, the way they used to have.
mhm. Wow, okay. So it's just adding new stuff in on top of the stuff that's already working.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Mm, very cool.
So
That's very
look,
interesting.
if we take, for example, a look to this is a new website that just used the audit like an hour
Mm,
ago or something, and that's the typical kind of audit we see. So there will be some problems with the titles. I mean, most of them would have problems with the titles because most of them would include the brand, the product type, some of the key features. This is one of the common pitfalls. Remember, I told you that
mm,
you asked me how someone should actually start to optimize one product for ChatGPT, and I told you that you have to start with the title. When you use our audit, actually, it highlights all those things, like what is actually missing, and then with the descriptions is like uh, you have indeed to have like detailed descriptions, but that not all type of descriptions, like the copywriting style descriptions,
mm,
but you would still have informations for people, because we're still browsing the website, but then you would also have information that is really detailed for the agents. And then of course you need to have uh, the attributes, the full attributes. So if you actually start with the attributes, and if you list inside, sorry,
mm,
sorry for that. If you list into your inventory, depending what platform are you using, Shopify, WooCommerce, BigCommerce, doesn't matter. You will have sections for
Mhm.
attributes. So if you start by that and you list somewhere all your attributes, and then you use those attributes to actually create titles, to create descriptions, then typically you would see very good results. You won't score like 100%, but definitely you will score higher. So when you use these free tool that we build, audit.recomaze.ai, you would actually
Mhm.
be able to spot what are the critical blockers. It's not for your full catalog, but just somewhere 5 to 15 products from a few categories that we detect random from your website. And then
Mhm.
it's highlighting you what are the problems, what you should do, if you have some missing technical details. And then
Mhm.
it's not just that, as it also gives you like a category analysis, like what you should do here. And if you're not familiar with all these concepts, you can ask questions here. We have an AI that you just type the question, like in a
Mhm.
chat, and also we have these AI assistant here that you can ask any question specific about your audit, not generally about this audit. You can ask questions about in general about this audit, but if you're not familiar with Geo, AIO, LLMO, or why these products score so poor, or why should I add these, or what should I do? And then also we provide an action plan. Um, Generally, it's kind of the same all the time. That's what I've seen in like 82% of the audits that were run through this one. Uh, they kind of have the same problems, and it's most of the time it's very easy actually to fix those. So you can use OpenAI, you can use Claude, you can use any uh, um, AI tool to actually rebuild all these descriptions one by one. We also have a feature in Recomaze that when you install it, we automatically uh, discover all the gaps of all your products. Doesn't matter if you have 100 products or 100,000 products, and then we also give you the improved description so you can play with those. We also have this query lab, which is very, very interesting because while is maybe you know how LLM is, maybe it's not always perfect in the question, maybe not necessarily every time a person would ask that question, but it really gives you a grasp of what's happening with your inventory.
Mm, I like
And
that.
then and then
That is
Sean,
helpful.
yeah, you think about a lot of us, we don't know how ChatGPT actually looks at our store, right? So if you want
Mhm.
to have ChatGPT Lens, for example, and for a minute to understand how these uh, ChatGPT and other AI assistants are actually looking at my store and how it is perceived, this is a great tool. And
Mhm.
or tools like these, not necessarily this one just, but I think it's necessary.
Yeah, it's incredibly powerful and so useful. I think anyone who's doing this, it's free to do, so you should go check it out. Like at recomaze.ai slash audit and do it for your own store because that's incredibly useful. I think anyone who is even kind of interested in getting more traffic to their own website could really benefit from doing an audit like this. And I mean, it's a self audit. Like, you don't have to talk to anyone. So I think that's also really helpful because, people watch this at all hours of the night, according to the YouTube analytics. So they may not be
Yeah.
able to call you up right after they get the results. Um, so,
Actually,
yeah.
we have something very interesting as well. When you install Recomaze, we also monitor your competitors. So we showcase what you can do actually, if they perform better than you and what you should do. And also we have a dashboard of an AI readiness and we are continuously monitoring your website. And you have tasks like daily tasks. If you have a team, like if you're an agency and you have someone that is taking care of optimizing online stores for agentic commerce, well, you'll have a new role in your company. I started to call this one agentic commerce specialist because it's the guy that
Mm,
is making sure your online store is ready for agentic commerce. So that's why I call it agentic commerce specialist. And they'll use tools like Recomaze to just make sure, you have the attributes, you have the product, you have the titles, you have, and not just that, because look, this is just the foundation. We're doing common sense here. It's not enough, but it's absolutely necessary to make sure your online store is a machine readable, AI readable first.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, look, if AI continues to go the way it's been going, this is going to become an absolute necessity very soon. So I'm not surprised. I am very, very interested in seeing where this goes. Well, we are running out of time here, but I would love to tell the audience where they can go. How can they get in contact with you? How can they hear about what you're up to?
Well, of course, they can search for us in ChatGPT. uh, they can search for a free audit tool for e-commerce, for Shopify, e-commerce, and commerce. But the simple way is just to remember the word audit and the brand, which is recomaze.ai. So it's audit.recomaze.ai, and they can use it for free. Until February 1st, by the way, we also have a free plan they can use to optimize for free some of their products. So yeah.
Mm, very cool. Well, look, for everyone who has made it to this part of the episode, go check out Recomize, do the audit, maybe test out their free version if this comes out in time. But yeah, this is incredibly powerful. There's a big future in agentic e-commerce, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Yeah, so thank you so much for being here and for being so generous with your answers. This has been really cool.
Well, thanks for having me here. It's my pleasure. I hope I added some value. Happy
Yeah,
to
yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, thanks so much again. And for everyone else, until next time.